Hi, my name is Scott, and just shy of 3 years ago, I had 4 levels of discs replaced with artificial discs in Bogen, Germany by Dr. Bernatoli of ProSpine. Wanted to give a 32-month, 34-month, 34-month update. Um, uh, Usually there is a temptation to wait until you're feeling great or feeling terrible to post a video, and being kind of in between seems sort of poetic. When you're feeling great, you're just not interested in making videos, you're off living your life. When you're feeling awful, I think that sort of adds to the whole bias that the internet sort of provides whenever you go online and research health stuff. So hopefully this is sort of a fair to middling, fair and balanced sort of way of reporting on my health. So how am I doing? I'm doing okay. Not ideal, not the worst. As you may have recalled in my 24-month update, that I have full range of motion. I'm really happy with the discs themselves. I've even tested them for durability a few times. I jumped backwards from a bunch of stinging hornets and fell to the ground and hit my head against concrete and gave myself a concussion, but didn't hurt any of the discs. I was feeling fine for days and weeks afterwards, and I've also thrown myself against dirt hills coming off of dirt bikes at least a half a dozen times, and have not suffered any the worst for wear. I do wear a collar, by the way. I wear a what the hell you call them, a neck brace, as well as a helmet whenever I'm riding dirt. So I'm sure that helped. Yeah, doing okay that way. The part that I'm not so happy with is that, as you'd mentioned, or I had mentioned, you may have seen, I have a constant tightness and tingling in the backs of my hands and in my arms, which, according to a neurosurgeon's PA, a physician's assistant, sounds like it is at the C7T1 level, which is the level right below the 4 discs that I had replaced. It's possible that there's some stacking going on in the sense that I may have, tight ligaments and muscles and maybe inflammation that just causes my the stress too of work and whatnot may cause it to pull down and push against that lower level, and particularly against the facets. I have some sort of standing tension in my hands, but it really is more pronounced when I lean my head backwards to the right or backwards to the left, and there's certain positions in bed that are less comfortable than others. And that causes a pronounced numbness and tingling in my hands. And so I feel like it's probably foraminal. The nerves that come off from the root of your spinal column out the channels that go between the discs or between the vertebrae. And that, so maybe there is a narrowing of height there. I've not had an MRI since my surgery. It's pretty hard to do an MRI with 4 pieces of metal, sets of metal inside your head, and the x-rays don't always show the foraminal stuff going on. So that's where I stand with my neck. I'm still glad that I had it done. I would still do it again. I'd still pay out of pocket for it. I did not pursue an attorney to go after the insurance company to pay for that stuff. That was just my choice. You can choose to do differently, and hopefully your insurance doesn't even make you fight for it. Mine would have, and I decided not to. But I still would have that done again, just because I know that every neurospinal issue is very individual. Just the way that your spine is structured, we're all kind of structured a little bit differently. We all have different gaps and just lots of physiological crap that I don't really fully understand. But it's all very individual, our experiences. There are some things that you see on MRIs and x-rays that are not symptomatic, and there are things that are symptomatic that are really hard to show up on x-rays and MRIs. So again, it's very, very individual. So I'm just a little bummed out that I've got this symptom in my neck, and the best way for me to address that so far has been to continue to keep stretching, to try to keep the muscles from pulling down, to continue working on my posture, which is way easier said than done, especially as a computer guy, and I also play electronic music at home, and I like to stay active, which is probably good. Probably better than the alternative, but still, posture-wise, especially with my computer job, is pretty tricky. And trying to eat as much of an anti-inflammatory diet as possible. I've been playing around with various different options. I've even tried to go full-on carnivore for about 16 days, and that didn't seem to help. In fact, it actually felt worse. I felt awful, spine-wise, for the better part of the entire time. So I'm now reintroducing vegetables back to my diet, and a few fruits, but staying away from carbs as much as I can to see if I can reintroduce foods that will make me to add to an anti-inflammatory diet. Also, of course, taking diclofenac, which is prescribed to me as an anti-inflammatory, and sometimes Tylenol seems to help a little bit as well. So that's pretty much that as far as my neck goes. Is that overall I'm still satisfied. I still would have the surgery done again. I'm still glad of the effects of the surgery on the levels that he operated on, but the level below is giving me trouble, and it's causing me to struggle to get to sleep sometimes because I've got sort of this standing ache and pain, and it adds to my overall sort of systemic daily pain. I also have lumbar issues, so I'm going to talk about them here just for a minute. If you're just only interested in my neck, you can go ahead and tune out now. Thanks for joining. Hope you're doing well, all that. But I re-herniated my damn lumbar 5 S1, sorry for the noise of the air conditioner, in May. So I had already had, about 5 years ago, both cervical and lumbar disc MRIs, and found that I had a bulge at L2-S3 and a bulge at L5-S1, neither of which were really major. They weren't super impinging upon my spinal column, and I had actually been making progress with especially my lumbar areas over the last few years, just building my core and doing some inversion and some exercise, and anti-inflammatories probably helped. But wouldn't you know it, I was out in the parking lot of my house and the driveway, lifting one of those carriers you stick on the back of a car, and picked it up wrong, and I felt everything cramp up, and my legs started hurting, and I was miserable, and went into the urgent care a day later, knowing that this was only going to get worse, and I got some anti-inflammatories, but also got muscle relaxants and some pain relievers. And that helped a little bit, helped me get over the initial hump, but still I've got these remnant issues several months later, even through PT, even through a couple steroid injections that helped for about a week or two each, but didn't really continue to hold. I've been doing so much conventional stuff to try to get past this, and it's just not healing up. So I'm going to have a microdiscectomy procedure done here locally within the next couple months, just to try to get myself past that herniated disc, and then maybe look at disc replacement again later on. Germany is willing to do up to 2 to 4 disc replacements in my lower back. That's very intriguing, but man, it's an expensive surgery. It's a very big and serious surgery. It's a major one, and I'm just not ready to take that on yet. So I'm going to see if I can do the local microdiscectomy, see if that helps me enough, and then consider going back perhaps to Germany to have multiple discs replaced over there. So that's basically how I am. Not where I want to be. I'm not as active as I want to be. I haven't been riding motorcycles very much recently because of the pain. Haven't been doing much of anything recently to try to get over, especially my lumbar issues. But I did want to give you that update kind of while I have a moment, and may give another one here at the official 36 month point, but at least wanted to put one together for you. So just as a quick reminder, I'm not a doctor. I am not even a witch doctor in training. I'm just a spiny patient that is sharing my experiences, and connecting with other folks like you to learn more about yours, and just kind of mutually be patient advocates for ourselves, and to make the best decisions that we can. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them into the comments section, and I'll answer them as best as I can. But in the meanwhile, I hope that you're doing well, taking care of yourself as best as you can, getting lots of second and third and fourth opinions if you can, and doing the best, and kind of accepting the cards that you're dealt with, and doing the best you can with them. So take care. Hope you have a great rest of the summer, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.